swim. You will be in the sun in the wintertime. You will live your best life. Not on my watch. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself of some stuff that has happened on your watch. You shouldn't feel guilty. It's your turn. It's your time. You've blessed everybody else. You've set everybody else for success. You've compromised you for them, and look where you are. It's time for you. And don't you know that the best thing you could do for them is to be the best version of you? Don't you understand that? That you're not helping them by not being the best version of you? The only way you're really gonna bless them is to be the best you can be. Here's my last one. Have a seat. Here's my last one. So I told you the who and why. This is important. This is important, guys. This is important. I need when you leave this room, pray for. You know what to do. You know who you need to be. Now you need to pray for the drive to get it done. No. This is the last one. You got to find, some of you have a problem. Like you the old standard car, right? The new cars are automatic. They got an automatic starter. You just hit the button. Like you don't even do the key no more. You just push the button and it starts on its own. Unfortunately, we weren't made just to start on our own. You got to find your why, and your why is what's going to start you. And so for a lot of you, you're not doing nothing because you don't have any purpose right now. You don't have a sense of purpose. You're not waking up for nobody. And I need you to get that engine. I need that drive, because you know what to do. You're the right person to do it, but you just can't seem to get out of bed. You can't seem to do what you're supposed to do. Every time you come up against a trial or a tribulation, you let it stop you. Like you don't have anybody from the South, Georgia, Alabama. Okay, so they're gonna relate to this. So they're hills. It's not a flat circle. It's not a flat land. The territory is not flat. So you got to go up a hill oftentimes. So if you got a 4-cylinder, it's going to be tough. When I first went to college, I had an Escort. And so when you hit those hills, you can feel the car like, if it's not a good car, some people can't even make it over the hill. But if you got an 8-cylinder or a 12-cylinder, it's like it's not even a hill. You put your foot on the gas and you go over it. The problem with most of you, you're a 4-cylinder. And when you hit trials and tribulations, you can't make it up the hill. To help you as I leave, because people look at me and go, E, man, you passionate, you got going on. A little bit over 3 years ago, I got a call from my wife coming home from work. She said, sweetheart, I could hear the trepidation. I could hear it in her voice. I'm like, boo, what's up? What's going on? She was like, help. I said, help, what's wrong? You got in an accident? No, I'm lost. I said, lost? We live in Lansing, even a freeway. She's like, no, I don't know where I am. I said, stop playing. She's like, no, I'm serious. I don't know where I am. I said, okay, do me a huge favor. Are you near a McDonald's? I'm just saying, McDonald's, there's 3 of them. And I would know where she was. Are you near me? She said, yep. I said, do I have a playhouse? She said, yep. I said, all right, you're on Martin Luther King. You're on the south side. I'm on my way. Went pick my wife up, called my homegirl, went to college with. It's like, yo, Dee Dee she didn't know where she was. She said she needs to go to the doctor immediately. All right. I'm like, we're good. You know what I'm saying? We've been dating since we were 16 years old. We good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we kids together. This just a little quick boy. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Go take her to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Praise God. I'm #1 motivational speaker in the world. So I get different type of health care. No, listen to me very closely. The reason why you got to be the best in the world, because they treat you differently when you're not. The reason why you have to be your best version, because if you're not your best version, they treat you differently. I call my homegirl who works at the hospital. She's a physician. She calls somebody. We go sit down. They say, look, we on the weekend go get an MRI. I'm like, bet. We go get an MRI. They call us on Monday. Listen to me. You think I'm playing? When you're not your best version and you're not multiplying and having dominion, you got different kind of health care. Look, my wife, okay, so we go to the hospital. I know something wrong because we sit in the room and it takes 40 minutes for them to come in. So I'm like, okay, usually it take a long time because they're trying to think of, like, how are we gonna break the news to you? So they cut the lights off. We got a screen like this. They show her brain, an image of her brain, and they take the little laser boy and put it up on the, and when I look at it, you see like 7 little spots on her brain. And so I ain't no doctor. I told you I got a GED. I ain't brilliant, but I ain't dumb. I know those spots ain't supposed to be there. And so I'm talking to the doctor, and she, they going roundabout. I'm like, look, man, just, what I'm saying, just keep it 100. What is this? She's like, well, we don't know if it's cancerous, but we believe that it's MS, it's multiple sclerosis. And I was like, all right, what is that? What I'm saying? I don't know what that is. I'm like, what is it? Is she gonna die? That's the first thing. It real, like, you don't know. Like, that's the first thing. I'm like, is she gonna die? It was like, no, it's chronic. She gonna live with it forever. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, it's showtime. My wife ain't there yet, so let me find out what to do. I started doing all my homework. Homework says the only thing that they know causes is stress. I started studying. My wife going to work again. She coming home stressed out. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work. You're gonna have to quit. And she's like, well, I don't mind quitting, but do you got enough money? Like, you got enough money for me to quit? I'm like, I got enough money. She's like, no, I'm not talking about for the year or two. I'm talking about for the next 30 years. I was like, ooh, how much we spend every month? I'm saying, I don't know. She's like, 5,000. I said, okay, 5,000 times 12. Okay, good. Times 30 was 1.8 million. Number 10, number 5, the number one motivational speaker in the world. No, you're not hearing what I'm saying. I started getting on stage and realizing, like, yo, people's like, yo, E, why you what? You just went to a whole other level. I'm not speaking no more to entertain. I'm not speaking to help people. I'm speaking so my girl never have to go back to work again. I'm speaking so that the MS don't kill her. I got a different drive. I got a different why. I got to make this $1.8 million so my girl can quit for the rest of her life. I'm taking all gigs. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. And the problem with some of you in this room, you don't have no drive. You ain't got nothing pushing you. You ain't got no reason for waking up in the morning. You ain't got no reason for pushing past that pain. You have no reason. You better find one before you get out of here today. And I'm telling you, I saw my girl go from 50%. She was like a baby. She could only eat, take a shower, and she ain't had no energy. So we started changing medication, we started changing diets, we started changing everything. And then I noticed she started getting better. But I noticed in Michigan in the winter, I noticed that her body wouldn't respond well in the winter because there was no sun. It wasn't just cold, it was no sun. And MS is a vitamin D deficiency. So she quit her job. I put the money to the side, got the insurance just in case I die. She could continue to live the lifestyle that she's living. And then we took it to the next level. People was like, yo, E, you number one now. Bro, you still going stupid crazy. You putting out more content than anybody. What's going on? I'm like, I got one more move to make. They're like, what's that move? I said, I got to move to California. I got to get a winter house in San Diego. They said, San Diego? You know how expensive San Diego is? I said, it's expensive. Expensive? Nothing expensive when you want to see your wife live another 30, 40 years. There's no such thing of expensive when you're trying to... Somebody said, why San Diego? You know you can move to other places that got sun. I said, she can't take extreme heat. San Diego, it's 78 degrees all year long. I gotta get her to San Diego. I could take some shortcuts, but you don't take shortcuts for the person who was there with you when you were homeless. You don't take shortcuts to the person that was hiding you in their mama's house and feeding you in the winter months because she didn't want you out in the cold. You don't take shortcuts for the person that made you go to college. You don't take shortcuts for the person that was able to get the first house in her name because your credit was shot. You don't take the shortcut with somebody that had your 2 kids and was on a hospital bed, could have died having your baby. You don't take a shortcut for people you love. You rise to the level and do what you gotta do. I'm gonna say it again. You don't take shortcuts. You fought. So they told me how much the house in California costs. I said, let's go. It's all good. We'll call it our second property and do it through the company. It's all good. They said, Eric, the house gonna cost like $11,000 a month. It's like, it's all good. End up getting a contract with a school district in California for that amount. Somebody said, how you get that contract? Because my wife got to move to California, so I'm getting on the phone, making phone calls, praying, writing books, doing whatever I can to open up another door. to make sure that house get paid for every year. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You better go inside. You still looking outside for the stuff that's already inside. You still looking for someone to save you when you already your superhero. You looking for some information from somebody when you already got what you need in your head. It's just time for you to get up and be the best version of you. So say with me, I can. Come on, I can. I will. I must. I can, I will, I must. All right, so this is why you're not getting hyped, because you don't understand what it means. I can means I have the ability to do it. I got what it takes. I have the ability to do it. I got what it takes to get a PhD. No, I'm academically, I'm not there. I am average skilled, but I'm phenomenally willed. I got what it takes. I got average skill, but I got phenomenal will. I can. I have the ability to do it. I will. Somebody count on me. I will. I have the willpower to make it happen. I must. My wife needs me. I must. My son needs me. I must. My daughter needs me. It's not an option. And the reason why some of you are not where you're supposed to be, you've given yourself an option. You've given yourself an out. You've given yourself an excuse. You've given yourself room not to do it, but you have what it takes to, come on, I can. Come on, say it a little sassy. I can. I can. Come on, I can. I will. I will. I must. I want you to think about that loved one. I must. I will not leave them to do it themselves. I must. I will not leave them handicapped. I must. I will not leave my wife in a wheelchair, not on my watch. She will not get in the wheelchair. She will not lose her sight on my watch. She will not be able to walk, not on my watch. You will live your best life, not on my watch. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself of some stuff that has happened on your watch.
Well, E.T. tells it all.
Dang, he ain't playing 2025, right? Like, how do you keep taking it to the next level? And our big brother's taking it to the next level. Hey, Epic family. And I want to say this also, Sarge. Hey, Kingdom Power couples in the making. Kingdom Power couples in the making. Brides and grooms. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I think it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night, right?
Yes. Terrific Tuesday.
Yes. I mean, just ET alone was power packed. Just make you, tell your age when you say this. Things that make you say,
Yeah, definitely. Always punching you on your mouth.
Well, some of this is like the mouth, the ear, back of the head.
Yeah.
Uppercut.
Definitely get it in.
Yes. So that was really powerful. I enjoyed the opening, and are we going on that, or are we gonna go on to what you have?
Yeah, we could go into the men.
All right, family. Well, we're gonna dive right into it. We hope that your weekend was great. We didn't see you yesterday. There's a couple of things that came up, so we had to take care of. But we're so glad to be with you this evening, and so we're just gonna get right into it.
When a man is stuck in his wounding, he'll prioritize his career so far above his romantic relationship that an emotional disconnection occurs because he doesn't know how to be present with her, and then he'll blame her for that disconnect. Conversations quickly turn into logical back and forth arguments, but what he doesn't understand is that life does not exist because of logic. Logic exists because of life. His disconnection from his emotions means a disconnection from life, which is why he can't feel or truly understand the energy under his woman's words. He instead uses analysis to pick her feelings apart, which destroys her femininity and leaves her sad and unseen. If he decides to heal the emotional wounds of his past, he will never feel the need to insult, diminish, or withdraw from his woman. If he balances his logic with a connection to life itself, he'll be so much more relaxed, fulfilled, and loving, which creates an emotionally safe space for her to be nurtured and a deeper connection to form. When a man
Okay. How cool, Sarge. Where we going with this? What you got for us?
Well, let's analyze it from the beginning. He was talking
Okay.
about romance.
Uh-huh.
And when the man doesn't heal the emotional wounds from the past, he doesn't know how to be present with,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all humans have some kind of traumatic event that happens in their life, something or the other,
Mm-hmm.
but talking about men, because men are told don't be emotional, and they equate emotional with crying or whining or complaining,
Okay.
and it's like, no, I got a legitimate complaint,
Mm-hmm.
or, it's something I want to express here. But
Mm-hmm.
because he's told from a young age to suppress that's whining and crying and complaining, and that's not welcome here. You're a man. He disconnects. And
Okay.
that's what he was saying in the beginning. Because he's disconnected from his emotions, he doesn't know how to be present with her.
Okay.
You see, so now he's thinking, what's wrong? Because he doesn't know how to be present with her.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts analyzing everything. That really freaks men out. On average, I can't speak for every man, but when when it comes time to be present with your with a woman, it's you start freaking out, and because that disconnect, he can't tap into the emotional, so he's connected to the logical. So he starts analyzing what she says, what she does, the body movement, everything. He's analyzing, and you can't analyze emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that has to be felt, experienced, so on and so forth. But another thing he said was the disconnect from life. When you're disconnected from emotions, you're disconnected from life. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I was heavy left brainer, logic, Mr. Logic, and I used to envy right brainers, artists,
Mm-hmm.
dancers, singers, because they look so alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, they enjoying life. Like, I think I need to tap into this right brain stuff.
Right.
So when he said disconnected from life, I mean, when you're disconnected from emotion, you're disconnected from life. That's what he's talking about there. For the second point is the importance of realigning and connecting with your emotional state to get emotionally healthy. And the way you do that is by healing the past traumas, the traumas of the past.
I'm kind of thinking on what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. In connection with what ET said in terms of you actually be making or being the best you.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. So I had some nicknames when I was younger. My mom still calls me, some of the nicknames, and one of my nicknames, and I realized based on you saying men when they're younger, they're told, stop crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Told them they can't be emotional, pretty much is what you're saying.
Right.
And so here's the thing I don't understand, because when we decide to be the best us, why is it I get back then, some people may not be able to relate to this, but we had encyclopedias. You know what I'm saying? You had to go to the library to research stuff. And now it's at the click of a finger. And so when you want to be the best you, why would we, if we see society, I hate to use this word, but I don't know any other word to explain it. But if we can see society evolving, why wouldn't we continue to bloom, blossom, grow, progress, evolve, although humanity is not like evolving, but you know, I don't know what other word to use. Why would we continue to take the information that we got in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, and continue to live based on that limited information when we want to be the best us? And so when you say we were told such and such, but why wouldn't you research it to learn more? You know what I'm saying? And this is man, woman, it doesn't matter. But why stay at that child level and say, well, no, I want to be emotional. I want, by the way, emotional intelligence, I'll just say it this way. I want to have emotional intelligence, or I want to understand about emotions. And so that I could be better in my emotions. Because normally when you go to be better in something, you discover the lack in it, or you discover the deficiency even in it. Because sometimes you may say, well, I didn't know I need to heal. Well, when you just decide to be better, you know what I'm saying? That's just like saying, you know what? I want to start going to the doctor. I'm not necessarily saying anything's wrong with me, but let me just go get some blood work done, or an annual physical, an annual checkup. And then in that, it's like, oh, look, there's some deficiencies with vitamin D, or, you know, whatever it may be. So when do we get to a place where we say, I know what mama said, I know what daddy said, I know what big mama said, and all this other stuff, right? Mamacita, I know what they said, but I'm an adult now and I want to be the best me. And so let me look up emotions. Okay, emotions, especially like emotional intelligence. Oh, that means I need to have self awareness. Okay, let me be aware of, you know, my own strength, my own weaknesses. When does it come out of the hands of what somebody said when we were younger, and it's placed in our hands of responsibility of saying, I want to be better? So, you know, can you help me understand that? Because I'm like, I get it, but I'm my own responsibility now. So I can't put it on my mom. I can't put it on my dad. I have to now take the responsibility of saying, okay, you know, I had to be a tough girl. All right, that's fine. But I still want to tap into my femininity too. And it's my responsibility. So how do we help men to understand that? I would say, I mean, if they don't understand it, do they understand it? Like, where are we with that? Because it's kind of hard to say they told us not to be emotional. Okay, well, you can tap into it and decide, oh, it's healthy for me to be emotional. I need to be aware of how I, you know, how I'm feeling, or aware of, you know, my weaknesses or my strengths. I need to be aware. So, you know, how would you answer that?
I think society is moving, like you said, society is evolving. And I think society is moving to that question now, like, all right, men, clearly we're failing in a lot of areas, you know, we need to come up. And I'm starting to see
Mm,
men groups
it's true.
and um grown men, you know, reaching out once again, you know, the older reaching out to the younger.
Right.
But this is what the word says in the last days, you know, I'm gonna turn it back, you know, of the children back to the fathers,
Yes.
because for a while, you know, it was, mommy, 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 and daddy was just the provider. You know what I'm saying?
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, and,
Some was Rolling Stones and some was providers.
mm, and then so, but that's because society is slowly move them out of the family unit. And the woman has become strong because that was part of their movement. But society is like, hold on, there's a deficiency here. The men, you can't leave the men back, you can't leave us behind. So I think as that awareness starts taking place and those scriptures starts being fulfilled, we're going to see that answer.
That's good. It is true. And I'm excited to see how the older generation is looking back to reach out to the younger generation. And hopes even in saying, here's what we know, and here's what we didn't know that we couldn't tell you, that we know now. I just want to say emotional intelligence. It's self-awareness. What is self-awareness? It's the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, your own strengths, your own weaknesses, your own values. It is also self-regulation, meaning you have the capacity to manage your emotions in healthy ways, to control like impulsive feelings, to adapt to changing circumstances. This is emotional intelligence. Also, it's motivation. It's a drive to pursue things like goals. But when in that pursuit, you have energy, persistence. Excuse me. Often you're fueled by intrinsic factors, right? Like passion, just an emotion to having a sense of purpose. I would say it's also empathy. So empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, right? Which helps in building strong relationships, that you're able to relate to one another or sit in that, I love to say that place or that space with one another. And it's the ability to have social skills. And I use the word ability because like there's nothing in this world that God didn't prepare us for. Like everything we need, regardless of society, regardless of systems, regardless of anything, the Lord did not, it's like He's our Father, which is our source. He did not give us like a car with no engine, saying, now start driving yourself to school. Like he didn't do that. We have everything that we need, and it's definitely on the inside. It is. And so I think when we can decide, I want to be different, I want to live different, and I'm looking to have a different result, a different outcome. So let me look within. And it's true. It's not external, it's more internal. The external may reveal to you, what's going on or what isn't going on internally, but it's within. And so that's why I love when ET was like, the best you, that you need to be the best you, because to be the best you will then allow you to be the best partner, in your marriage. And so when that's why I'm like, when I look at people, I'm like, hey, take care of yourself. Yes, your spouse, we take care of one another, but don't you want to take care of yourself, for her or for him? Like, why do they have to say, oh, you need to take care of yourself? No, you should want to be the best you, the best mental health, the best emotional health, the best physical health, spiritual health. You should want to be the best you to bring into, that relationship, because, in the relationship, you're going to have to work, it's a working partnership too.
Yeah.
And you're building life. And so you want to be healthy enough, you know what I'm saying? Or on that journey. It's even cool if you're on the journey. The problem is when you're not on the journey.
Yeah.
Right? And you're diving into this relationship and you're not on the journey of being the best you. So we would encourage you guys, look to be the best you, so if Mr. hasn't come, if Mrs. hasn't been found, that means you have more time to be the best you. to work on you and be the best you. Some things are solely going to be worked out in that marriage because the partners, it's just designed that way, as we've learned, right?
Yeah.
But some things, it's you, and there's just look at it. Have a self-awareness about yourself and be like, what is it that I need to work on to make me just a better me? Because if you have that mindset, you'll feel that way about that spouse. You know what I'm saying? You then want to make that person, he or she, a better version of themselves too. And now it's two people around here working together in full agreement. We're going to be the best us, right? So we can
Right.
have our best life together. We can build together, right? And we can enjoy life together, right?
Right.
Right? Right, family? That's good, right? All right. So we're going to check in with you guys tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out with us. Baruch, Hava, and Shalom.
Shalom.